Good morning. This being me coming on now doing this video at this time means that it'll be about 11:15 before I get a live video up, alright? So just behave yourselves. March Madness was madness yesterday when Connecticut came back from behind and beat on a last second shot. They beat Duke. And it was a great game, and they blacked it out down here. Unfortunately, I don't know why. There's some dispute going on down here. Games are blacked out. It's crazy shit. They're not supposed to be blacked out. They're blacked out. I get them. They're in Russian. I don't know what's going on. Anyhow, that made a nice day yesterday. It's going to be a nice week. You're down to the final wire with both tournaments. So that's good. I love those tournaments. I don't know. I'd find out later on where I stand. And then, of course, Donald has to go threaten Iran again with obliterating their energy sources and nuclear, gas, electric, everything. And what Trump's going to find out is that these guys will throw rocks. Okay? He doesn't remember when, before we got into arming the Afghan rebels against the Russians, Afghans were holding their own by throwing rocks off the cliffs at the helicopters and taking down that big helicopter. I don't remember. It's like the biggest helicopter around, gunships. And that's just the way these people are. If they want you out, they'll fight you with everything they got. And America's just not used to that. It's like when the British came over here to try and force us back into a colony, and take away the independence and everything and control us. They marched in their various formations using their squares, which had won wars all over the world. They were considered one of the best armies in the world. And Americans, who are basically all hunters and whatnot, not well trained. Sure, they had some of the armies that were those people were suicidal when you stand up there and just shoot across a line like that. A lot of people are going to die. But anyhow, they decided to hide behind trees. They decided once the soldiers walked through town, to take off their aprons and their work caps, follow them and shoot them in the back. Ambush them along the trails. 4 or 5 guys could do what 30 or 40 regular soldiers couldn't do. Cause chaos. It's still the same way, folks. We have specialized units in our military to combat that. You have special forces, Delta, SEALs. But they're small units, and they operate on intelligence, and they operate in specific targets. To turn them loose in the country as killers, to disrupt everything, that could get a little out of control. And like I said, our army operates on intelligence. In other words, we want to know what we're getting ourselves into. We're not good at handling surprises. Vietnam showed us that. Afghanistan showed us that. High casualty rates when a successful ambush is completed against our military. Air power doesn't do you any good if that happens, because your air power is nowhere near it. And by the time the air power gets in the air and gets over the target's gone. That's what Trump doesn't understand. He doesn't know how to fight. He's never been in a fight. He's never been in a fist fight. He's never been in a hand slap or anything like that. He's never been involved in this stuff, He has no idea how to fight. Business-wise, he's used to stabbing people in the back, but it's a lot more difficult when they're carrying guns and weapons. So, his threats don't mean much. Israel understands. Israel has the ability and will come in and carpet bomb the country. But Israel's not putting troops on the ground, at the moment anyhow. America is the one that's building it up. And like I said before, you've got Marines and you've got Air Force troopers and whatnot. And even though these boats nowadays are a lot roomier than they were during World War II, you can't keep combat soldiers penned up at a certain level, ready to go into combat. They're just itching to get there, and you're keeping them on board a ship. Something bad's going to happen. All right? Accident, something bad's going to happen. And they're not going to be ready when the time comes. You just can't do that, folks. I don't care how much exercise you give these guys, it's not the same as running through the jungle or running across the country or something like that. It's just not. Being on ship is different than being in the desert. That's where the intelligence comes in, and that's where, you have to keep planes constantly in the air above them to protect them. And that's very, very costly. And the minute the sun goes down, the planes disappear is when the enemy comes out of their holes, digs out of the sand dunes, comes in, kills a few people, and leaves. That doesn't mean a victory because of the deaths. What it does is demoralizes the troops that you're fighting. Makes them go crazy. They get vicious. They become uncontrollable. And when that happens, they're prone to defeat. So, I'm not sure that that this is going to work. But his threats are, he does this every couple of weeks. One week he says, we're close to peace. Next week he says, if they don't agree with what I want them to do, I'm going to just blow the fuck out of their country. Well, you can do that. And one little mistake, and that part of the world becomes useless. Okay, so think about that a little bit. You don't have the greatest intelligence in the world over there. Satellites can't see everything. See, when you get an army as good as America is, but as advanced as it is, it forgets how to fight dirty, hand-to-hand, ambush-style war, Well, Trump will learn the hard way, I guess. Trump's allowing a Russian tanker to reach Cuba, effectively releasing the blockade, I guess, at least temporarily. Trump wants to look like he's a humanitarian. The one that scores there is Russia because it's a Russian ship. Trump must be making some serious money there, you know what I'm saying? You know how Donnie is. He doesn't do anything unless he makes some money. So he's probably making some serious money. It's probably oil he owns or he's invested in that they're selling to them. Maybe it's Venezuelan oil, He gets the money from that. He's trying to get it personally. I don't know whether he still does or not, though. He was trying to get that personally. I don't know whether that happened or not, or what's going on over there with that. But Donnie's Donnie, It's a holy week, folks. And what do we talk about? War. I'll tell you, one of the things that surprises me, living in a Christian country, is that Christmas is celebrated by constant partying and drinking. A lot of accidents and stuff down here. A lot of people, violence and stuff like that, But they're all drunk. And they party 24 hours a day, And there's no religion involved in this, okay? Only the old people show up at church on Sunday. The young people show up, their eyes are down around their jaw. So, it's not a pleasant sight. But you get Easter week. Now, Easter week's still full of parties and everything like that because people aren't working. They got the holidays. They're partying. But Easter Sunday, you can't get into church. It's packed to the walls. They could do every 2 hours. They could do a mass all day long, and it would stay packed all day long. But that's celebrating the death. You know, maybe what they drink because they're celebrating a birth and all that. I understand that. But don't you go to church too? No. You know? Not like they do on Easter. I've never understood that. You know, it just seems that Easter should be more of a solemn occasion. And it is on Easter Sunday for the 1 or 2 hours that people go to church. And after that, it's just, you know, whatever. Partying, eating, you know, whatever. But I don't know. You know, I guess I just look at things differently than other people do. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me anyhow. But there's this statement from Trump. There's been a regime change. Yeah, there was a while ago, the second, you know, but now he's saying that he doesn't. This is a man that, as far as I know, going back to his first term, never read an intelligence report handed to him in the morning. Somebody has to come in and tell him what's going on. And I don't know whether now he just doesn't listen and he tunes it out and he says, well, this is what I want, so this is what's happening. And he expects it to happen because he said it happened. But I'm not sure that there's a regime change over there. He's the only one saying that. And he has horrible intelligence in that part of the world. The Mossad has the best intelligence in that part of the world. And so do Jesuits. Because their people have lived there their entire lives, generations, thousands of years. You know? So, I don't know. Very strange situation. And of course, you have our leader knows nothing. He's not my leader. I mean, I wouldn't trust that guy walking my kids across the street as a crossing guard. What, are you kidding me? He's insane. Forget the fact that he's a pedophile. He's just stupid. He's not a smart man. His intelligence goes to conning people. He's able to convince people that. But now, unless he's doing something entirely different, when he's not being photographed or talking in public, I can't see him convincing anybody to do anything. You know, I can see him being convinced by Stephen Miller to do this or say that, because he's very gullible. You know, because he doesn't know anything. He doesn't have the ability to think. I don't know how you explain it. He can't think. He doesn't think strategically anymore. He might have at one time in business, but he doesn't anymore. He's allowed greed to control his thought processes. Excuse me. And it's just not a pretty sight, you know. So listen, have I screwed up your Monday? Are you depressed yet? Do you want to go out and hang yourself? Don't do it. Don't worry about it. Somehow or another, somebody along the line will come to our rescue, I hope. Can't be me. I'm too damn old. And I fall asleep in the afternoons. So, anyhow, that's it for me today. Welcome to the week. Welcome to Monday. Holy Week. Yeah, right. Okay, so everybody, you know, go find that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, because I'm telling you, I can depress anybody. Just give me a little chance, you know. I'll give you all my depressing opinions about what's going on in the world, and then, you know, you could go from there on your own. Wow. I really know how to get people to sign up for me, don't I? Well, anyhow, look, it helps my station. It helps my station. It helps my channel on the station. If you subscribe, it doesn't cost you a dime. It's free. You get an email every once in a while. You know, when I go on the air or something, you'll be notified of my videos and whatnot. I think it's what it's supposed to do, anyhow. I guess whether it works or not, I don't know. But that's it. I will see you guys mañana. I don't know if I'm going to take any time off this week because of the holidays, but we'll wait and see how it goes. I don't know what people's plans are for Good Friday and whatnot, you know, but we'll see. Everybody take care, and I'll talk to you in the morning. Bye.